kind of like a, I think people like my because I'm kind of a unique kind of character.
And I have
the analytics
And I love to like,
you just see how games and possessions get more intense, how they mean more.
I'm not putting him on.
I think the U.S. is going to obviously win.
Standing behind me on the court, we are in Indiana, an AI Ghibli version of Harry Krinsky. Behind him, supporting both of us, an AI Ghibli version of Maitreyi Anantharaman. In front of us, an AI Ghibli version of Kathy Engelbert. And we're standing athwart half court yelling stop because we're here to talk about the last 3 teams left in the WNBA playoffs, soon to be finals starting Friday. Maitreyi, how are you doing? I'm
doing well. Crazy games this weekend.
Yeah. We have a lot of stuff to get into. Obviously I'm referencing the Chloe Bibby Instagram post of her and Sophie and Caitlin like telling a cop not to intervene in some on-court thing. What was that?
I think so. I saw the art before I had really learned about what the incident actually was, and I think there was like some officer or whatever security guy who like came onto the court after they were already there and was trying to get them to leave.
What prompt do you think was typed into ChatGPT to create that image?
Yeah. I have an update on the story. I just looked.
Okay.
This is from a Sports Illustrated sloppy blog that says the AI image is controversial for several reasons. One being that it's AI generated art, which is polarizing. What's more, there are perceived racial undertones in the image. And Bibby's apology says, "Really sorry if I offended anyone with my post. That's not who I am, and I need to do a better job of understanding the racial undertones and issues within this country." So she's listening. She's learning.
That is really
Didn't she played like 5 games for the Fever this year? Like she was a Valk briefly.
Yeah.
Yes, she is one of the injury replacements.
Who is herself injured, of course, now.
Who is herself injured, yes.
But we're not here to talk about.
The kind of look
there. Actually, wait, check this out. There is one Australian we do need to talk about, which is co-DPOY Alana Smith heading to Cancun. Lynx Mercury was just. Can you just walk us through? Like, we should just talk about like what happened in these last 2 games.
So, the way Game 2 ended. I still feel like Game 2 is the turning point in this series because Game 2 featured this big Mercury comeback at the end so that they had stolen one on the road. And so now we go back to Phoenix. Game 3, another just like really great game, very back and forth. All of these have been Game 2, like at one point seemed like it was a blowout, but it just feels like these last 3 games were really competitive. So Game 3 goes back and forth. The way it ends is Alyssa Thomas like goes for this basically game-winning, game-sealing steal on the way. The steal is off Nafisa Collier, who's like inbounded and is kind of dribbling up the court, and then they collide. Fee falls down. AT is like sprinting to the other end of the court, and can score, and then Cheryl Reeve, like I think after seeing that Fee was on the ground, because I don't think she reacted at first, but then just seeing that Fee was there, so I kind of wonder if it was like an emotional response to the injury specifically rather than the actual collision. But she flips out, and she got her money's worth, I must say. She kind of like charged at the refs. All her assistants had to hold her back. She was ejected. She stayed on the court for a very long time. When she finally did leave the court, she was getting into it with some fans on the way out.
That's an almost mild way to put what she was doing with the fans there.
True. Okay, she just like screamed "fuck you" at several fans. And then
awesome.
She did a post-game press conference in which she took no questions, but called the refs fucking awful.
God, she's so cool.
And then she was suspended. She was suspended a game, so she was not coaching in Game 4.
What do you make of that? She's it's not the first time she's sort of like had a hot temper or whatever. But what do you make of the? I just keep going back to like I was reading your blog that came out the 24th, basically calling the Lynx this like death machine of
I blog cursed them.
Yeah, well, just of like I know. I mean, I don't think at the time you were wrong. I think it was this. That's how they were, and then this crazy explosion in Game 4, and then a collapse, which we'll talk about in Game 5. But like, does this kind of combustion surprise you? Were there now in hindsight signs that maybe we could have seen something going on here? Like what happened?
I did think while I was watching Game 3 that it was physical, but I even went back and looked to see if there had been like a lot of jawing at the refs during the game, and I didn't really see any. Like, I was just trying to see if this was some kind of final straw that she cracked. But I don't know. It did seem like to kind of come out of nowhere.
At first, I thought it was one of these, like, the coach realizes that her players are about to explode and sort of is like, I'm going to take the pressure off of them by being the one who freaks out. But then it looked like she was going to go, like, fight the refs. My favorite part of this is Dijonay holding a towel up, like 4 feet away from Cheryl, not blocking anything, but also, like, clearly smirking like she understands that, like, she's, like, performing being helpful, but is not actually being helpful.
Yeah, she wasn't aware of the other cameras on the court.
I personally didn't find the play dirty, but also like this idea that Fee is just going to get the shit beaten out of her by AT all game. It's like, yeah, like look at AT. She's like huge and way more physical. And that's sort of part of why I liked that rivalry so much in that series is just like Fee is just going to get to her spots and just take 2016 footers a game. And like the Lynx will very calmly, like, pass it 5 times and try to find the open shot. And then so much of the Mercury, like, I really like this Mercury team. Their offense is like kind of brutal to watch sometimes because it's either just like AT bulldogging or like Kalia Copper shooting a 3-pointer with 17 seconds left on the shot clock, kind of for no reason and like missing everything.
I've really, same analysis, different interpretation. I have really enjoyed the Mercury offense. I was trying to come up with a good term. I keep calling AT like an evil basketball player in a kind of positive, like she evil complementary.
Like on the alignment chart.
Yes, exactly. Like
she's like lawful evil, maybe.
Yeah, like some kind of or kind of like chaotic evil that's also lawful good, sort of. Yeah. Like she's bending it donut style. I've flirted with cracked heliocentricity or like based heliocentricity because it's this weird, like everything does, a lot of it runs through AT, but not exactly in this plotting way that you see with like maybe like a Luka or a Caitlin Clark or whatever. Like it's like I'm like bulldozing in, creating some kind of chaos and then spraying it out to somebody, and they're either going to cut to the basket and score, or I'm going to literally throw it to the other team, or I'm going to spray it out to a shooter. So it's to me, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, I like this team because it seemed from the very beginning or from the offseason that they actually had a cohesive vision or like trying to be a specific team, which I think sometimes WNBA teams often maybe are not, and you could sort of get away with it if you just have a bunch of really talented players. Cough, New York Liberty.
Yeah.
But yeah, this team seems like it was built to play in a specific way, and they're very good at that.
Yeah, I think what I do like about watching them so much is like I feel like I've mostly watched Satu and like to a lesser degree Kalia be like the best players on their teams. And it's very fun to have them assume secondary roles. Like, was it the end of game? It was game 3 when Satu was hitting all those threes, right? In the fourth quarter.
Yeah, she was huge for them.
And like the way she got space and the kind of space she got, I feel like you wouldn't see that when she was like on that like good wings team a few years ago or whatever, you know?
I also, she she felt like the real, like every shot she took in these last two games were like backbreakers.
Yeah.
Like they
I feel like the Dewana Bonner ones were the real killers.
That's true. Those I mean, yes, that was, you're right. That was like a
because I think any shot she made in the fourth quarter accounted for like 80% of the shots she made in the entire series.
right.
What did you call her? Like the worst good shooter
I've
of all
always
time
thought
or something?
she does this like in a lot of playoff series. She is the best bad shooter ever. Like she's one of those players where you don't actually believe her numbers because she's always kind of making big shots, and that's it. No small shots.
I like no small shots as a concept.
I can't really. We'll get into this in the second part of this episode, but like, I can't really imagine the Fever in the finals, and I can't let myself like believe that that's actually possible. One of the reasons is the like Dewana versus Fever fans like insane discourse that will spark from that, where people will be like, "Oh, she quit on us," but really it's like she kind of sucks, and yet she's here in the finals. Like, I think that is designed to break people's brains in this very noxious way.
I think a Fever in the finals would break lots of brains.
Yeah, we should. We'll get to that, but first, I want to talk about the end of this Lynx season because they were the favorites to win the finals. I thought they were going to win the finals.
Our playoff preview, we were like,
yeah,
that's the likely outcome.
You thought they were going to win the finals so much that you now have to
spent money on. I basically like, gambled. I bought concert tickets in Minneapolis. As soon as they were locked into the 1 seed, I was like, okay, now I know for sure finals games 1, 2, and 5 are going to be in Minneapolis.
That's a serious curse. Who?
I know.
Who are you
Lorde.
seeing? Lorde. Oh, that would be fun.
Is she playing? Maybe she's playing an arena show in Phoenix that also has to get moved. Who knows? But like, not a very good. The Alana Smith co-DPOY did not age very well.
No, and it aged immediately poorly because I think the day she was awarded it, maybe
was that game 2?
I think it was game 1, and then maybe it was game 2. But like she got benched, and that was like the key to the Lynx winning. Is suddenly they were rebounding well.
Well, so I have a X's and O's question that I'm expecting there to be an answer, but I did find it really confusing, which was the clear defensive strategy for stopping AT was like, we're going to gap her and give her, she can't shoot. She's not going to shoot a 25-footer. So we're going to like gap her tremendously, clog up her passing lanes, and like that's going to stop her. But I felt like what was functionally happening is it was allowing her to just get a running start, end up in her spot, and then create the chaos with a little bit of momentum. While on the other end, the Mercury, every time the Lynx got into their offense, they would like get a good shot. The Mercury were just ball pressuring so intensely that they like couldn't get in. I mean, it was amazing down the stretch of game 5. They like could not get a shot off. And so do you think they're going to look back at that and be like, I think that was a misstep. I think maybe pressuring AT. Does nobody pressure AT? What am I missing here?
No, I think you're right that they probably could. And also, it's not like she's a real point guard who has the like physical qualities of a point guard and is like super fast and has great handles. So I actually think that's a way to go about it. But it also just feels like sometimes you have to tip your cap, and it just feels like they can kind of just spam the same things over and over. The like inverted stuff where she's able to just get on to Natisha Heidemann and do whatever she wants.
There were some good Heidemann moments in the series. Like, it was clearly a point of emphasis between, I think it was games 2 and 3, where Cheryl was like, you have to shoot the basketball. You can't just like dribble into these good shots and then like spray it out to someone in a worse position. But you're right. You're right about the offense being disrupted. And the thing I sort of like about that and why I like the Mercury so much, despite them being kind of evil, is like they're playing like playoff basketball. Like they're just getting into people and like kind of just beating the crap out of them. And like that idea that like, if you can just apply more pressure and if you can find the simpler stuff to spam over and over again, like it's on the other team to stop you. Like it's not as like ornate, but like there is something that just sort of scratches the itch for seeing like the simple, brutal stuff like be so effective.
Yeah, it is very much the cliches about playoff basketball, right? Physicality, getting rebounds.
Yeah. Sammy Whitcomb, of course, like playoff hero.
Well,
I mean,
shot making, yeah.
Playoff heroes.
She's been, you wrote about her.
I was so happy to see you did, because I before I saw that you wrote about her, I was just like so enamored with her jump shot. Like it's like the quickest release of any jump shot I've ever seen. She like flings it. It's like every shot looks like there's 0.3 seconds on the clock and she needs to get it off. It's really fun to watch. So it was interesting to hear the color, like kind of the backstory that you laid out of the how she
the story of her like routine is, I guess, at the Mercury practice facility they have some kind of shot tracking technology that would also record how many practice shots everyone has taken. And there was just like a photo of the leaderboard, and she has more than doubled up the next person on the list. And I think after that shot she hit in game 2, she said it was like 20,000 this year.
In the 2010s, Business Insider used to put up the total impressions for blog posts from writers up on like some kind of big board in their office. Reminded me of that.
Sammy Whitcomb also.
Do they do that at Defector?
Deadspin, they used to have traffic used to be public on the stories, and then at the GMG office there was the leaderboard.
Okay,
it was
there you
like
go.
current traffic on all current blogs.
At Defector, it's sort of just implied that my WNBA blogs get the most page views. So, we don't need to put it up on the screen.
Yeah, people are starting to feel bad.
See. I think everyone just kind of intuitively knows.
Yeah, it's like you're the AT. We're just running the offense through you, and everyone else sort of gets the shots that are available. Speaking of bigs whose first names start with A, have you enjoyed watching Aces Fever? Because I kind of have, because both teams seem to be kind of panicking literally the entire time they're on the court. Like watching the Aces play offense is just sort of this like, is it going to be some dumb shit, or is Asia going to have to like work her way through Aaliyah? Like, have you had fun with the series?
Yeah, it's definitely like a peaks and valleys sort of series where when it's good, it's really good. And then when it's bad, it's kind of terrible. And it has felt just like very janky in general. I don't know. I think I've had fun. I've had more fun than I expected to. I didn't, after the Aces got their second win, I sort of thought that was maybe over. But now it's a series.
A play that I feel like keeps coming up that signifies this kind of like weird oscillation between pretty and gunked up is like Jackie Young will come off a screen and kind of like snake dribble and seal her defender in this kind of beautiful pick and roll mastery, and then just get swallowed up and like not know what to do and like try to pass it out and get it tipped, and then it's like loose ball trying to catch a grease pig. Like it starts out as this sort of meticulous fun pick and roll and turns into hitting it off three people's hands and then going the other way.
Yeah, she's like, when she like works quickly, like there was one, it was like during the fourth quarter yesterday, she like came off around this pin down and just like instantly got in the lane and hit an and one. But it's like the second she like picks up her dribble, yeah, it's like the pressure is, she's done a good job on Kelsey too. Like that's the thing I've watched is like Kelsey had like one bad game basically, but like they have done a really good job at just getting her in space. And like, talk about a quick release. Like it's not only like the mechanics of the jump shot that are quick, it's that she is just zero hesitation. Like, I mean, Maitreyi, you also wrote about her. Like, how fun is it to watch her at this like confidence level?
Yeah, she's great, and she's just like fast at everything, which is nice. Like she can drive really fast. She is in transition super well, and like the way the Fever are defending, it just feels like that's how they're getting her so many good shots.
And like, I think how the Fever are defending, it's sort of impossible not to talk about Aaliyah Boston now. Like, she's been really good. She's been really good. Like Asia, that like the Asia stuff that was working on Malonga, where she turns like a 14-footer into a 7-footer, like that shit just does not work. Like she can't dislodge Aaliyah. And she's like been a really good team defender. Like, what have you seen?
Yeah, Aaliyah, unlike Dom, knows how to play basketball. Unfortunately for Asia, but yeah, she's been really good. It's funny because she's like seems like a very sweet person and very soft spoken, but this is kind of a pattern now where like lots of people who play her seem to kind of crash out and like everyone gets really mad at her. I remember, I think it was like Brittany Griner. Like every time they played each other, like things would just go so off the rails. Jonquel Jones, I remember, like got into a huge thing with her. Maybe this was last year in a Fever Liberty game. So she's doing something to really piss people off. And
what do you think it is? Like, why do you think everyone gets so mad at her?
I don't actually know.
There was one in one of the games, because I agree on both. Like, she was on Bird's Eye View and she was so funny. So yeah, I mean, they're all often like it's a interview, player podcast interview, whatever. Nobody's being a dick, but like she was so friendly and nice and funny. And then you're seeing her get mixed up on the broadcast. They did a good job. I think it was game 3. What was the game where Asia was really struggling? Like 1 for 11.
I think that was game 3.
Yeah. It was either 3 or 4. But a good job of showing this sneaky Aaliyah Boston technique of like initiating contact on the defensive end, and then the second she receives contact, flailing and like falling. And I could see that pissing Asia off. But it's that's what you got to do, right? If you're the 6 seed or 7 seed, and you're going up against the best remaining team in the
and the best player in the league,
right?
The world.
Yeah. The thing with the Fever that also drives me crazy is the Caitlin Clarklessness of it all. And as someone who's mostly been rooting for like Giddy Nathan style outcomes that favor your book, the idea of the Fever making the finals without Caitlin like makes me feel a little nervous. Where are you at with this?
I haven't actually been thinking of it in book terms, but I do find it's funny. It's just really funny. First of all,
it's very funny
because there's this whole like narrative that she's carrying the entire
savior
team
of
and, like,
the WNBA,
playing with a bunch of plumbers, and they all seem fine. And I think
the plumbers that Caitlin's playing with are unionizing.
Do you think Caitlin's going to like, how will she adapt to a bench role next season behind Lexi Hull, who's been amazing? It's like hard to get that starting spot back. You got to earn it.
Yeah, it's a crowded point guard room too now because they have all the injured backup point guards also vying for playing time. So,
but no, to Patrick's point, I am legitimately confused by this. Like, it's not the first time that a star goes out and teams get better. There's the famous Ewing theory, Bill Simmons turn of phrase. The only thought of course, there's sort of like a team building component, but then the big one often is it can really help to have 5 people who play really good defense instead of 4 people who play really good defense and 1 superstar. So does that seem like the answer? Or is
that
there...
I think is the big thing. Like there's no one to hunt. It actually sort of reminded me of Game 7 of the NBA Finals, where after Hallie went down, like the Pacers were defending really well for a little bit there.
Do you remember that stretch in the third quarter of that game where TJ McConnell scored like 12 points in a row?
Yes.
I was crashing out so hard. I was just thinking like, are we all going to have to go to work tomorrow and reckon with the fact that like this motherfucker just won a championship for his team by like writhing around like a weird little guy on the ground? Like that's another reason why I don't want the Fever to win, is like the Indiana Magic narrative will be so annoying if this happens.
Pat McAfee just rubbing his hands together.
But are they still like watching or paying attention? I honestly feel like it would be bad for them if a Caitlyn-less team won.
Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing, is like they sort of became this like white identitarian team last year, and now it's like those people don't know who Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell are. But it would be funny if like if some people who we thought of as being like cynically pro Fever actually just got like really into the hoops themselves, and they're just like, Odyssey Sims, man, what a player.
Honestly, what a player, though.
She's amazing.
She's been really good. And I will say, like, the Fever have had to sign a lot of, like, replacement players. And I think they've all been pretty good. So whoever's scouting and doing their signings is doing a nice job.
Again, just bringing in random players and having, that's another way the Valkyries' influence is just all over these playoffs. Like, obviously with the Lynx losing, it's tough blow for Harry and I because the title does not go through San Francisco anymore. But you know, we'll find ways, increasingly strained as they are, to rationalize this being about us. So don't worry. If you guys heard of Coyote, the new like Bay Area independent? I went to their launch party last night and everyone was talking about the Valks. It's like someone had a plush Valks bucket hat. I can't wait for next season.
Hell yeah.
We gotta not talk about this though. We gotta talk about
the teams
of the
winning.
two potential finals on offer. Which do you want Aces Merc more?
I don't know. I guess now I'm actually being selfish and like trying to think of what would be easier travel wise. And I feel like one involves shorter plane rides than the other. So I guess maybe that one.
We got to get you to Vegas. We got to get you gambling pilled. Like,
yeah, I've never seen a game in Vegas, so I guess I've been to a lot in Indiana.
I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on the Michelob Ultra Arena and the
But
Ultra
I like
lifestyle
Indiana.
generally.
I like going to games there.
Have you been to the Phoenix Arena?
No, I haven't.
I guess, yeah. I wonder, do you think you'll go to both and just sort of hang out in the desert for 2 weeks? That could be fun.
Yeah. I love the desert. I don't.
Desert's okay. It's a good time to go to the desert, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of a flying south for the winter kind of.
Yeah. So I have no problems with Indy specifically, but
You do your own kind of Burning
just
Man.
to change it up a little, experience something new, I guess. That's what I'm rooting for. I did say yesterday, and I still, having slept on it, I still think this is true, that I would pick the Mercury over whoever comes out of the other side.
I think I agree with you on that one. And also, to contradict myself, I'm now thinking about it. I feel like Aces Mercury would be maybe extremely annoying because you'd get like 3 Transcendent Asia performances in like 5-point losses in a way that would be designed to make me and Becky Hammond specifically like really, really mad. And I would like AT against Aaliyah would be so fun. They would either like just annoy each other to the point of like,
yes, who can annoy each other the most?
or it would be like a game recognized game, like Kalia and Courtney Williams, sort of like lovingly talking trash to each other, where they'd just be like, wow, you're like such an asshole. You're awesome. This is so fun.
Well, there's a sort of like 2 of the ways you can be mean on display there. There's like the Aaliyah Boston killing them with kindness sort of thing, and then there's the AT just killing them.
Yeah, AT is at least kind of upfront about it.
Yeah.
She's not sneaking around. Like,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I guess it often ends up being a which transcendent big can exert their will on the other, but like there's no matter what, there's going to be a fun matchup there.
yeah, I don't think I'd buy the Aces defense like really holding up against the Mercury.
So It's like I love Chelsea and Asia and Jackie in their games. Like I really like watching them individually, but like as a team, it's just
They're
like
washed. No.
it's like this is just
Just
be normal for like 5 possessions straight, please. Like once in the game, just oh my god, what do you guys do? Yeah, I'm writing about Aaliyah now, so I'm just watching a lot of tape of like Aaliyah just running under the basket, putting Jackie on her hip, and then like all the aces kind of look over there and they're like, that looks bad. Like, I hope someone deals with that. And then it's just like she's basically dunking. It's just if I was Becky, I would not be happy.
Yeah, so I'm scareder of the Mercury.
Well, speaking
of the two of them, and I will say, like everyone kind of named the Liberty they were so injured in the regular season, so that kind of screwed them over. The Mercury also had a lot of injuries too. Like their big three didn't play a ton of games together, and when they are all healthy, they're a very good team.
Didn't they start the season with all 3 hurt?
I think Alyssa Thomas played the first game, and Satu played the first game. I think Kalia Copper was just out, but then yes, eventually they all kind of dropped out at some point.
This is just a one-off thing. Satu's so fun.
She's
I
awesome.
love her. Like
she's entertaining, at least I will say that. Some of the turnovers are pretty nuts.
Well, just from like a kind of like bag work, like when she is in these, like you said, kind of like a second fiddle ISO situation, and she's hitting like she's the second biggest person on the court and hitting like through the legs, behind the back threes. I am just like, wow, that's really impressive and cool.
Is there anything we're sort of looking ahead towards the finals? Is there anything from the previous series and of the eliminated teams that you like found interesting or like wanted to note as something to watch for next season?
First of all, in general, I think this was like a very competitive first couple rounds of the playoffs. And I cannot say that's true every year. And like sometimes they've just sucked. Like the year that it was like the Libs and Aces and no one else was remotely close to them. And then even those finals were not that competitive. That was just like not that fun to write about. And I feel like there has been lots of material in these playoffs.
Yeah, like every first round series except for Valks went 3. 2 of them ended with like 1-point wins at the last second by the Fever and Aces. Even like the second Valks game was amazing. Like it's been,
yeah, that very well could have gone 3. It was close.
Yeah, I've certainly had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then we have one going 5. So in the semis, so it's good. I think there are just usually in the playoffs, because they let so many teams into the playoffs, there's just like a bad team in the playoffs, and I don't think there was a bad team in the playoffs this year.
What do you think about the because it's going 7, first time 7-game WNBA finals this year. Now I'm forgetting if we were talking about this on Bird's Eye View or on this show. I'm having podcast.
You're getting me and Sue Bird confused again.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But the idea of like by game 5 of last WNBA finals, it was like everybody
awful.
was dying.
I don't think I could have watched 2 more games, more full games.
So it'll be interesting. Like because to the how we started this, like the physicality stuff, it really is intense. And
yes.
So
the turnaround in these playoffs has been fast.
Yeah, it'll be every other day for like games 3, 4,
As
and 5.
I know from trying to schedule my concert. It's like,
I know. Well, and this is going to be another win for the California Good Vibes Valkyries lifestyle if the Aces win, because I'm just gonna say a finals between teams in Vegas and Phoenix where everyone will be in the sun. You don't have to deal with this like soggy East Coast fall winter kind of lifestyle. I mean, I guess
you think it'll be restorative?
Well, I was gonna say that, and then I'm just imagining Alyssa Thomas just dribbling at me full speed and like every bone in my body breaking. So maybe if she wasn't on the Mercury, I could really take this take. But I'm marking this out as a potentially annoying take I don't believe in that I will take in 2 weeks. So watch this space.
Okay.
Before we get out of here, I wanted to talk about the Liberty, the kind of postmortem on the Liberty, because Patrick, you wrote about Sandy getting fired. Maitreyi, you had something very funny that I have written down about the sort of like tension between the good vibes of the Liberty and the good vibes of the experience of Liberty fandom as a kind of abstract thing versus like what it is actually like watching this Liberty team, which was a kind of generally frustrating and turbulent experience. Like I am, well, defenders of this season and of Sandy would likely say, what are you going to do? Our best players got injured. It's really hard to win in this league, and that's what happens. How much do you buy that versus how much is it, and you were alluding to this, Patrick, like, is it that they underperformed and that there is some kind of, not that I'm not the guy to decide whether or not she should have kept her job, but just that there was some kind of like better coaching that could have been done this season. I am, as a Warriors guy, I'm inclined to say keep the coach who like won you the fucking title, but
I do feel like there was kind of an inverse correlation between like number of Liberty games actually watched and how angry you were about the firing.
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
Because on the surface level, like, yeah, it's crazy to fire someone who just won a championship last year. But I don't know. I didn't find it super surprising. I wouldn't have found it surprising if they had just been like, yeah, lots of injuries and tried to run it back. But I was not at all shocked by that decision.
The final quarter of Brondello Ball featured literally one player scoring. So I feel like that's like a pretty succinct indictment of the whole project. Like, the thing I found most interesting about the Brondello firing is how it was talked about. Like to Maitreyi's point, I think that's like basically exactly right. But then you see people like Becky Hammon even basically like calling for like investigations, like calling it a total crime, which like certainly there's some projection there as like she's now like the second longest tenured coach in the W. And I mean, we're coming off of 2 off seasons, or I guess last off season, when like 8 coaches turned over. I guess you can sort of read the Brondello firing like kind of in line with that, where it's just like you're probably going to get increasingly good candidates like willing to like wanting to take these jobs, and the salaries are like going up and up. And like, if you're the size who are like worth $11 billion and like want to win everything, it's like pretty clear that like Sandy could be upgraded from, but like that really didn't seem like, no one really wanted to say that. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like that's if it ends up being a Aces Mercury finals, that's probably going to be a talking point, is that these were like 2 NBA experienced head coaches. But I mean, I remember writing about this when Becky Hammon got hired by the Aces, and it felt like it was a very somber hiring for some people. Like, they were sad that it felt like the dream of a woman coaching an NBA team was dead, and like this was a huge step back for women. My counterpoint is that the women who play basketball deserve to have really good head coaches, I think. And so if they're getting, better candidates, then I think that's good.
Yeah, I remember that like that dialogue was like, she basically sold out all women by like not sticking around to become Pop's successor, which like, who knows if that even could have happened. And yeah, like I was thinking a lot about the charter flight stuff as it relates to last year's finals, and how just like investing in stuff like that will like lead to better basketball because players won't be as like tired and fucked up from having to fly commercial. And I think it's like the same exact thing applies to like Becky, like coaching the Aces as like a good thing for the league and for everyone, is like you just have better, more interesting stuff working, and like rising tide boat situation is how I read
Yeah,
that.
I think that's one reason that this season has been pretty fun to watch, is because of the fresh blood in coaching and like people coming from different places, right? From international leagues, from college. And so I am in agreement with you that it's just like a little bit more fun when you have new ideas and something new.
Something that kind of complicates some of this is this notion that Sandy was a player's coach, because it's like the like you linked in your piece. Stewie kind of outspokenly was like, no, that's not, like, why would you fire her, et cetera. And then I was thinking, so this is like a not entirely formed thing, but I was thinking about the idea of like, you're firing this player's coach right before this big CBA shakeup. And like, is that going to, a lot of the contracts are going to be reset. There's going to be a lot of like new stuff. Was there this decision of like, because on one hand you would say, well, let's keep the player's coach right as the CBA shakeup so we can attract good talent. But on the other hand, I wonder if some of that player's coach signaling is kind of like what you say when a coach is not that good, but is a nice person.
Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Ooh, yeah.
Please.
Stewie was the one who wanted Sandy fired, and she just said that in the press conference to like give herself PR cover.
I like this. I believe this 100%.
I mean, it's basically in line with kind of this idea of like,
there is zero basis for this, but
no, you were
Perry
reported, yeah, where sources are saying, right. I mean, the idea of like, you can like somebody and also want a huge upgrade over it as a, it's a business, as they say.
Who do you think they're going to hire? Maybe this is too early to speculate, but like, I think if you fire someone like that, you have to have like a list of names in mind. And like, you have to know the fans are going to be pissed because they see like, I mean, some fans like our Jasper Wang has been Sandy out for like the entire year,
the fans
basically.
who don't actually watch the games.
Yeah. The fans who suck are going to be pissed. But like you have to know that like a certain segment of the fan base will be mad and that like the replacement has to be like, oh, that's worth it. Like, that's why we fired her. So like, even if you don't have like a specific sort of name in mind, like what type of coach do you sort of see them going for?
I thought at the beginning, and then this has now been kind of confirmed by some reporting I've seen, is that they would just try to go for another like Nate Tibbetts style head coach who has some NBA bench experience and kind of pull from there. So maybe that's a possibility. Coaching is just so hard because it's like total voodoo and you have no idea who's going to be good and who's not.
Yeah, that's actually something I like about watching basketball. Like I've been watching basketball for so long, and I could like tell you with like 15% confidence like who's a good coach.
You have no idea who's a good coach. You have no idea like how to apportion credit to like with results to the coach versus the players. I don't know. We're like in sort of outer NBA season preview time, and it's so funny anytime anyone predicts like a coach of the year winner, because coach of the year is basically like an overachievement award, and there's like all your basically and you always get fired the year after you
exactly
win it.
Yeah, right. It's almost like being named preseason coach of the year is almost like a guaranteed way to not win coach of the year.
Yeah. It would be funny if you get people taking principled stands and just voting for like Eric Spoelstra every single year, like no matter how the Heat do.
Mm-hmm.
Or so I guess Cheryl in this case.
I've seen the slobs.
Wait, actually, my last point. We were talking about the Cheryl thing, and I was seeing her freak out, call for a change of leadership at the league level, and just thinking like, God, if any coach in the W, I would want to play for her. Like, I would want her just screaming at me, and like, I would be so motivated.
She has her players' backs, that's for sure.
Like, that's what a player's coach does. My question is, if you could play for any coach in the W, who would you want to play for?
Natalie seems fun. I think I'd be a little afraid of Cheryl.
Yeah, she's scary. That's like why I want to play for her, to be clear.
But Natalie kind of seems to strike the right balance.
Yeah. What about you, Harry?
I think I'm going Cheryl. I like being coached
Wow,
hard.
you guys need that.
Yeah, I need the. I want
Extra
to.
fire.
I need to get like screamed at. I would have.
Yeah, I'm just like terrified of a boss yelling at me, so that's probably playing a role.
I have a real like. This is just sort of my own. I have a real. My brain gets on the fritz when I start thinking about efficiency, in general. So I don't think I could play for one of those like efficiency coaches because I would like do the right thing to get myself a 12-footer and then like have a panic attack on the way up.
You just picture a shot chart as you're elevating.
No, like literally I would be having intrusive thoughts about Kirk Goldsberry heat maps as I'm like shooting. So I think I despite as a fan sort of like drawing from some advanced analytics, I don't think as a player I could get into that.
What about Becky? She seems she really backs her players.
Yeah, Becky would be fun.
Becky would work, yeah.
She put you in
just need
interesting spots.
like Bill Lambier, who seems to be like a real like kind of like prick, but with maybe a heart of gold. That I could get behind that.
Well, Cheryl is part of the Bill Lambier WNBA coaching tree. So.
Thank you for joining us. Excited to find out who's going to be in the finals and where you'll be going. And we're going to have you on very soon again to talk about those finals. So yeah, okay. Thank you. And
maybe I'll be reporting live. From
we need to get you from the casino floor.
Desert.
Yes,
from the desert or from a casino or from some sort of
you could bring
chain restaurant.
Bring your podcasting rig to like the craps table
and
just like, this is going to be good stuff.